Build your dreams, live rich, and leave rich.
Welcome to Live Rich and Leave Rich. You know, what if I told you that the money you're so carefully saving in your bank account is actually losing its value every single day? It's a pretty shocking thought, right? But for millions of us, it's the honest reality. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop that from happening. We're going to talk about how to finally make your money work as hard for you as you do for it. So let's just start with this one direct question. Is your money working harder than you are? I mean, think about your day. You're working 9 to 5, probably longer, juggling deadlines, dealing with stress. You have limits. You need to sleep, you need weekends. But your money, it can work 24/7. No holidays, no sick days, no breaks. The real goal isn't just to earn money, it's to build a whole workforce of rupees that just never stops growing for you. Because let's be real, the income you get from your job, your active income, it has natural boundaries. You can only get so many promotions, so many raises, and eventually, you're going to want to retire. It's the engine that powers your life for sure, but that engine can't run at full speed forever.
And while your salary takes a break, there's this silent thief that never ever sleeps, and that's inflation. It's constantly, quietly eating away at the power of your money. To put that into perspective, 1 crore rupees today will only have the buying power of about 31 lakhs in just 20 years. Just let that sink in for a second. That's a huge chunk of your wealth just gone.
And that is exactly why letting your hard-earned cash just sit in a savings account is like putting it in a bucket with a slow, invisible leak. You think it's safe, you feel secure, but its real power, what it can actually buy for you and your family, is draining away day after day, thanks to that relentless pressure of inflation.
So if just saving money isn't the answer, then what is? Well, that's where this simple but incredibly powerful idea comes into the picture. It's something that's accessible to pretty much everyone. Mutual funds. This is how we start fighting back.
At its very core, a mutual fund is just a collective investment. The absolute best way to think about it is like a big money basket. See, instead of you trying to figure out which stocks to buy all on your own, you and thousands of other people all pool your money together. And then a professional manager takes that giant pool of money and invests it for everyone, buying a whole mix of different things like stocks and bonds. Now, this whole money basket idea gives you 3 game-changing advantages. First, you get professional management. An expert, a full-time professional, is paid to make all the tough investment decisions for you. Second, you get instant diversification. This just means your money is spread out across many different investments, so if one company doesn't do well, it doesn't sink your entire ship. And third, it's so affordable. You can own a tiny piece of a huge, well-managed portfolio, sometimes with just a few hundred rupees. Let me give you another way to think about it. Investing all by yourself is kind of like trying to buy just 1 or 2 really expensive fruits. If one of them turns out to be bad, well, a big chunk of your money is just gone. But with a mutual fund, you're buying a whole fruit basket with lots of different fruits. It spreads out your risk and dramatically increases your chances of a great result. Okay, so the idea of a money basket makes sense, but you look online and there are thousands of mutual funds out there. How on earth do you choose the right one for you? Well, it's actually much simpler than it looks. It all starts by asking the right question first. Let's just imagine for a second, you need to get from Hyderabad to Chennai by tomorrow morning. Would you walk? Of course not. Take a bicycle? No way. You'd book a flight, right? It's obvious. You pick the vehicle that matches your goal and your timeline. Well, investing is exactly the same. Your financial destination, your goal, determines which investment vehicle you need to take. And really, when you boil it down, you've got 3 main types of vehicles. You've got equity funds. Think of these like airplanes. They invest in company stocks, they're fast, and they're perfect for long-term goals like retirement, where you want high growth and you have time to handle a bit of turbulence. Then you've got debt funds. These are like trains, stable, reliable, and just ideal for shorter-term goals like saving for a wedding. And hybrid funds, well, they're a mix of both, giving you a more balanced, comfortable ride. All right, so when you're ready to pick a specific fund, this 3-step check is your absolute best friend. First, define your goal with total clarity. Is this for a house down payment in 3 years or your child's college in 15? The timeline changes everything. Second, check for consistency. And please do not get suckered in by a fund that shot up 40% last year. That is often a trap. You want a fund that has performed steadily through good times and bad. A reliable 12 to 14% over a decade is so much better than a one-hit wonder. And third, look at the expense ratio. This is a tiny fee the fund charges. A difference of even 0.5% might seem small, but over 20 years, that can cost you lakhs in returns.
Lower is almost always better. So we've covered the what and the how, but honestly, the thing that truly separates successful investors from everybody else, it isn't just the funds they pick. It's their mindset. This is where the real magic happens, but it's also where the real danger is.
And it all starts with understanding something that's often called the eighth wonder of the world, compounding. It's this beautiful, simple process where your money earns returns, and then those returns start earning their own returns. It's like a tiny snowball at the top of a snowy hill. It starts small, but as it rolls down over time, it picks up more and more snow, getting bigger and faster, until it becomes this unstoppable force of wealth. And if you want to see that snowball effect in action, just look at these numbers. A regular investment, a SIP, of just under 11,500 rupees a month, growing at a very reasonable rate, has the potential to become over 3 crore rupees in 25 years. This isn't some get-rich-quick fantasy. It's just the beautiful, undeniable power of math and time working in your favor.
But, and listen closely because this is probably the most important part of this entire conversation, to let that compounding magic happen, you have to get out of its way. The biggest threat to your financial future isn't a stock market crash. No, it's your own emotional reaction to that crash. The most critical battle you will ever fight as an investor is the one that happens right between your ears.
We have to be aware of these mental traps we all fall into. There's something called loss aversion, where the pain of losing money feels twice as bad as the pleasure of gaining it. This is what causes people to panic and sell at the absolute worst possible time. Then there's the herd mentality, that fear of missing out, or FOMO, that makes us jump into a hot investment when it's already expensive just because everyone else is doing it. And finally, there's recency bias, which tricks us into thinking that last year's top-performing fund will automatically be next year's winner. That's how we end up chasing returns instead of building quality portfolios. So, knowing all this, knowing the incredible power of mutual funds and the dangerous pitfalls of our own psychology, how do we actually put it all together into a simple, effective strategy that works? Let's build your action plan right now. Here it is. If you just follow these 5 simple steps, I promise you, you will be so far ahead of the vast majority of investors out there. Number 1, have a clear goal for every single rupee you invest. Number 2, match the fund type to that goal's timeline. Equity for the long haul, debt for the short term. 3, build an emergency fund first. This is non-negotiable. It protects you from ever having to sell your investments in a panic. 4, stay disciplined. Keep your SIPs going no matter what. In fact, you should get excited when the market is down. It just means your money is buying more units at a discount, which sets you up for bigger gains later. And number 5, review your portfolio just once a year. That's it. Stop checking it every day. You'll make better decisions and you'll live a much, much less stressful life. So, let's wrap this all up. At the end of the day, mutual funds are just a tool to help you live a richer life with peace and with clarity. Just remember, equity is your engine for growth, and debt is your anchor for stability. The real secret to success with SIPs is just unwavering discipline. And please, please don't chase last year's hot returns. Chase your own life goals. Because in the world of investing, simple, boring consistency will always, always beat frantic intelligence. So the only question left is this: what's the first step you'll take today to make your money start working for you?